So, good morning, everyone. We're so glad to be with you today. My name is Angie Besendorfer. I'm the Chancellor for WGU Missouri, and I'm excited to share with you a project that WGU created and to have these two individuals here to kind of share the data on that. But we created WGU Academy as a response really to the failure of remedial programs across higher education. And WGU Academy was created and piloted with WGU, but it was built for higher education in general, for any university or learning organization to be able to utilize and to be able to use it without the WGU part, but it can be your academy and your on-ramp. And so for those of you that don't know WGU, just want to tell you a little bit about Western Governors University really quickly. We're a private nonprofit university that was created by governors. We have 130,000 students nationwide and 250,000 graduates. We've been around for almost 25 years. And the really interesting thing in the pandemic for us is that we graduated 50,000 individuals, like almost, just in 2020. And so it's really important to know that the impact and the scale that WGU likes to do things at is really a little bit different than that. And we're really kind of pushing the envelope on how higher ed needs to change in order to meet individuals' needs. And that those individuals' personal journeys is what drives us. And so today's presentation on personalizing on-ramps for post-secondary education is about kind of one of those quests that we have. And so I'm really thrilled today that we have Reshma. I'm gonna pause for just a second and I'm gonna say it right. Reshma Gouravajhala. No, I can't say it right. Reshma, I'm sorry.
Totally
I'm too nervous.
understandable.
Will you say it correctly for me, please?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. I'm Reshma Gouravajhala.
Gouravajhala. So I have to just say it fast. I can't look at the pronunciation. So Reshma's here with us, and I'm assuming and hoping that Dr. Omid Fotuhi would also be joining us. They're going to be presenting and sharing the bulk of the information today, but I'll be with you as well to answer any questions. And so I'm going to turn it right on over to Dr. Reshma.
Thank you so much. And thank you all for joining today. I'm hoping that Omid hops on and takes over in a little bit, but otherwise you've got me for now. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to put them in the Q&A, and we would love to hear your thoughts and feedback in the chat as well. So to get started, I'm the research scientist at WGU Academy, and I'm so excited to talk to you today about some of the work that we've been doing. One of the fundamental beliefs that we have is that learning is social. So we posit today that learning is not merely a process of content mastery. And what I mean by that is that learning from our perspective is not just providing individuals with a series of facts, a series of strategies, and then just being like, okay, my job here is done. Go ahead and learn. Feel free. Instead, we believe that learning is a social experience. You learn from each other, you learn in situations where you feel a sense of connectedness and belonging to both the material that you're learning and to the people around you. And we believe that a lot of difficulties arise in education when we expect learning to occur in silos, when we expect people to do so without the support that they might need or require in order to succeed. And this, we think, starts from a very, very young age, as evidenced by the photos that we have here. From a very, very young age, if you think about how children learn all the way to how very grown adults learn, we learn when we can find meaning in what we are doing. We learn when we can have support structures, whether that is with peers, with faculty members, with coaches, or with other members of authority. And so, again, we think that learning is a social experience. One of the other beliefs that we have at Academy is that a lot of education, a lot of higher ed and post-secondary institutions especially, focus primarily on what we call the cognitive and metacognitive domains of learning. By that, I mean, so cognitive, for example, is something like math or literacy. It's the content. And then metacognitive is really how you think and how you learn. And so if you think about a lot of the research that's been done over the last 10 to 15 years, a lot of the flashy popular psych papers that come out, a lot of the strategies that you hear about, they focus on things like how to learn. If you test yourself, you'll be fine. If you, go through periods of interleaving what you're trying to learn, that's all there is, you can move forward. We fully agree that the cognitive and metacognitive domains are incredibly important to learning. What we also believe is that there should be an emphasis on what we call the non-cognitive domain. So this includes some of the constructs that you see here, which is like motivation, sense of belonging, having a positive growth mindset, emotional intelligence. And so at Academy, we really strive to build a foundation of non-cognitive skills training, non-cognitive scaffolding for our learners, because we believe that you can build the most beautiful course in the world. You can have experts in math or writing or history write all the content. You can build all the scaffolding about, how to set goals and how to take tests. But if a student or if a learner is struggling with feeling a sense of motivation, if a learner believes that they are in a box in terms of their intelligence and their ability and there is no growth, there is going to be a gap between what you want the learner to achieve and what they might be able to. And so we believe that having this non-cognitive emphasis mitigates that gap and helps people achieve the success that we think they can have.
Reshma, I
Angie,
do
do you
want
have
you to
anything
know
to say?
that Omid was able to join us, so he's with us
Okay,
now. So
perfect. Omid, do you have anything to add?
Not much. I think you've covered some of the core facets of psychology, which really highlights the fact that when it comes to learning, it is this social experience, as Rish has mentioned, and understanding that unless you're able to invite the individual's whole self, not just the expectations of content mastery, but their identification with learning, then you're probably going to fall short of expectations and support for that students. But I'll pass it back to Reshma.
Thank you. So in terms of who our learners are, we have learners that span a wide variety of spectrum. So we have our average age of learner is in the mid to high 30s. So we have a lot of age diversity. Many of our learners hold part or full-time jobs, and so they're balancing the schoolwork in our college readiness program with work and family responsibilities. A lot of our learners come from low-income households. Oftentimes they're first generation students, and so they don't have necessarily all of the background and knowledge about what college entails, about what it means to go through a college readiness program or prepare for a degree program. A lot of our learners are students of color, and they, there's just a lot of diversity. We have a lot of parents. We have a lot of individuals who are in rural communities where technological access might be more of an issue than for others. And so we really are aiming to create a program, and we have created a program that serves all of these learners, not just those who have, who've been in college classrooms for centuries, whose families understand all of that and who have that access, but people who are engaging in a lot of this coursework in an asynchronous manner. All of Academy happens online.
At the tone, please record your message.
Can you all still hear me? Okay. My headphones just decided to say, at the tone, please record a message. Fascinating. Anyway, these are our learners, a wide, diverse set of individuals. A lot of these individuals come in with skills and motivation and passion for learning, but they also might come in with a healthy anxiety about what they're doing at Academy, whether or not they can make it through, apprehension about their abilities, their finances, how to balance everything. And so in all of their thoughts, they have all of these identities, and college student, as Omid pointed out, might not be at the forefront of those identities, and they might have a lot of fears around that. And so what we at Academy do right at the outset, so starting from orientation, is we ensure our learners that they belong here, they absolutely are a college student. And we do that by calling this out. So we call out a lot of reasons why people might be concerned when they start Academy, starting with the phrase of "I don't belong," or "I haven't been to school in a really long time and I don't know. I haven't done school through Zoom before. What is this, what does this entail?" And so we assure students right from the beginning. There's been a lot of research done with first-year programs and these sorts of interventions that have been shown to work in the past, and that have been shown to be very effective. And so we highlight to students that the idea of the non-traditional student is changing. The traditional student is looking a lot more like our students, people that are older, working adults, individuals that are balancing school with families and work responsibilities, first generation students from low income families who are trying to achieve their dreams to better their lives and their families' lives. And so we really call all this out, but we don't stop there. We don't stop in orientation. We have intentionality with our design. And we have learned that I can say all this, we can say all this, students can hear this from their professors, from administrators, but really where it affects them the most is to hear it and see it from their peers. If they can feel that sense of belonging, if they can feel like, oh, hey, the other students in my class are also parents. They're also working these 3 part-time jobs, and they have figured out these strategies that are making it work. So I can belong here too. I'm not out of place. This isn't somewhere that I need to leave. It's somewhere where I can thrive. And so we have, at Academy, we have a very unique course, which I'll talk about next, where we have active peer-based learning that happens over Zoom. So we like to joke that we've been Zooming for a long time before it was cool, at scale. And we have small group sessions where individuals can learn from each other. It's a flipped design, so they do a lot of the pre-work and homework prior to arriving at these live sessions. And at these live sessions, which are facilitated, they do a lot of learning from each other. So the course is called the Program for Academic and Career Advancement. We call it PACA. And it involves, the goal is to really transform students' belief systems and behaviors. We want to develop their self-efficacy and have them build awareness of their own thought patterns and behavior patterns that might be impeding their progress. So PACA is really built on the fundamental aspect of with awareness comes choice. So we talk a lot about different strategies that you can use. So we talk about everything from, and we really build the skills of, empathy, having a growth mindset, building on self-efficacy, how to create smarter goals. And we do this by allowing the students to really arrive at the content that relates to themselves, to their own situations, identifying their own thought patterns, like I said, and figuring out what works for them and how to build their mindset and have a more positive mindset and positive self-efficacy moving forward. So PACA consists of 7 sessions that last 90 minutes, and the cohorts are about 25 students apiece. Like I said, there's a lot of peer learning that happens, and it's conducted via Zoom, which is an intentional choice. Again, if you see students that look like you, if you can think about your own background, not as an obstacle, but as a really valuable set of experiences that you've had that have led you here, you can really continue on your educational journey. One of the things that we make sure to do is to not assume that students can just do this themselves and, provide the strategies, provide the skills, and again, just say, okay, off you go. We've gotten you the information, take it and run with it. We instead have a very, very comprehensive support network available to our students throughout their time at Academy. And that is in the form of our certified coaches. So our coaches work with our students to really make sure that they understand all of the material, and they can, it's sort of, we have one-on-one personalized sessions available for our students for free. So these are executive coaching sessions. And in these sessions, students can really, it's a playing ground to take all of the information they're learning, to think about everything they're learning in their academic courses as well, in their areas of study, and to pull it all together and to really tackle everything that's going on in their lives and continue fostering that growth mindset and that self-efficacy. I don't have time to go into it in today's presentation, but our coaches are trained and use a framework of motivational interviewing. So a lot of this really is to help the student arrive at the answer. They're not telling them what to do. They're not giving them the answers. But again, in an effort to really build the self-efficacy, to build the foundation that we believe all of our learners already have, our coaches use motivational interviewing to help our students build these important non-cognitive skills. So up until now, we've talked about the research, we've talked about the best practices, and if you're anything like me in this audience, you're probably wondering, okay, does it work? Like, yeah, you've talked a lot, but can you show me if it actually works? And luckily, yes, I can show you that. We have a lot of evidence that in terms of student subjective experience, in terms of growth on reliable and validated psychological scales, and academic metrics. So we very much pride ourselves in being a data-driven and student-obsessed organization. And so I'm really excited to show you some of this and from the evidence that we have. So starting out in a survey that was administered upon completion of PACA, we learned that over 80% of our students who completed the course are confident that it'll impact in a positive manner their academic and professional success. I attended a session yesterday where somebody mentioned that they really like giving these presentations, but one thing that they miss is having the students be able to have a space to speak for themselves. And so in lieu of that, what we have are some actual quotes from students about feeling that sense of belonging. And I won't go through all of these, but a couple things that I'd like to highlight is the quote at the top left, where the person says, when you go into online classes, you don't expect oftentimes to make friends or to feel that sense of belonging. In fact, a lot of people have an expectation that they'll be going into it alone. You know, when everyone else is asleep at night, when you're trying to sneak in little bits of modules in between your shifts. And instead, through the PACA class, this person says that they're able to meet and make friends going through similar things as themselves. The quote on the top right, the person felt normal, knowing that they weren't alone. They felt motivation and reassurance, which we believe are sort of foundational concepts that you need to satisfy before you can get to the metacognitive and cognitive elements as well. And the quote on the bottom right, I think about this all the time, where it says, PACA helped me realize that I make my own fears. So if I can create my fears, then I can control them as well. Which is just a very, very powerful statement. And I want to highlight that all of these quotes are ascertained by a third-party research group. And if you look, they were done in spring of 2020, which is a very, very uncertain and anxiety-ridden time for all of us, including our students. And so for people to be getting this motivation and this reassurance as they started their educational journeys back up is really, really powerful. Moving along to a little bit more of data, we are seeing a positive impact, a significant and substantial growth in both generalized self-efficacy and growth mindset. So these scores are, we ask students to self-report how they are their self-efficacy and growth mindset using, like I said, reliable and validated scales, both at the start of PACA and at the end of PACA. And so we can determine a pre-post change. As you can see here, a 3.3% change in self-efficacy and a 4.6% change in growth mindset from the start of that 7-week experience to the end of the 7-week experience. And something that we're really, really excited about is, again, focusing on those underserved groups specifically. Today, I'm going to highlight students of color, low-income students, and first-generation students. They're thriving after they graduate from academy as well. So after they graduate from academy and they've enrolled in a degree earning program, so bachelor's degree, where the terms are 6 months long, one of the metrics that we've been really focused on is students' academic performance by the end of that term. So at the university that we're looking at, the terms, like I said, are 6 months long, and students have to achieve or earn a certain number of credit units by the end of that 6 months. And what we're finding is across all three of those minoritized groups that I mentioned, if we're comparing how Academy graduates of color are performing relative to non-Academy students of color, we find that 8.5% more graduates of color are earning that sort of academic metric. First generation, 9.4. So of the group of first generation Academy graduates, 9.4% of them or higher are earning that academic metric. And again, low income students. These are all statistically significant, and these patterns have been shown for over a year now and have shown to be very consistent. Importantly, these same patterns are appearing not only when we look at the achievement of those academic metrics, but also who's signing up for another term, who has been retained. We know that a lot of higher education institutions all over the country are seeing problems with retention. And so one of the things that we're really, really proud about is that the Academy experience, which involves the PACA course, which involves gaining foundational information and getting GE credit, it involves that personalized coaching, is helping our students thrive, especially those in these minoritized groups relative to those who didn't go through Academy. So putting it all together, we believe having that non-cognitive emphasis, having that access to one-on-one personalized executive coaching for free, and having intentional design, that sense of belonging and community that we try to build into the entire experience, is helping students develop those skills and develop the resiliency that they need in order to thrive in their subsequent, in both their expectations, their experience, and in their subsequent academic careers. Thank you so much. If you would like to partner, please contact Anna Freshu. And if you have any questions, we'd love to take them now. Thank you again.
Thank you so much for the presentation. And if you would like to make questions or comments in the chat, either I or Dr. Besendorfer will convey them to the presenters.
I think as we're waiting for questions to come in, I might just jump in with one additional comment, which is from a national perspective, this emphasis on these non-cognitive skills is growing, especially as we're recognizing the inequity of the acquisitions of these implicit rules. Some of us have been calling this a hidden curriculum, that we expect students to know how to navigate the academic journey. We expect them to know how to learn, not just what to learn. And yet no emphasis has been placed, as far as I can tell, at post-secondary institutions to really create a curriculum to deliver that content. And I think what Academy is doing is putting an intentionality to delivering those skills rather than assuming that they are there. So I would say that's probably a part of a growing movement that we're going to see more and more of across the nation.
You must have answered your questions in the presentation. I would just again emphasize that WGU Academy was built for higher education across the nation, not just for WGU. We started it with WGU because we really feel like that if we're going to build something, we need to prove the points first before we take it out to market. And so it's ready now, to the point to say, if you want to revamp your remedial opportunities for your students because you really think that you can do better, this may be a system that you can do that with. And for the cost side of it, that it's a very low cost opportunity to let individuals try out college and earn real credit that goes towards their degree in order to give them that leg up to be able to become a completer. And that's what it's all about for us. And so for the way that we've arranged with it with WGU, I can just tell you that WGU Academy is separate from our WGU University. And there's the opportunity then, what happens is we contract essentially with Academy as a vendor. And it costs us essentially about $600 for every student that we send to Academy to then become and transfer into WGU. And so other institutions of higher education can do that. I'll also note that we're working with other types of learning organizations. For instance, Job Corps in Chicago, they do learning kinds of opportunities, and they're going to marry this with Academy as an opportunity to bring alongside that skill set of those non-cognitive kinds of things that help people to become more successful in life. And so it doesn't necessarily only have to be working towards a degree, it can be working towards all kinds of learning different opportunities. And so just wanted to mention that if you need to reach out to us, it's easy to do that. And if you can reach out to me at WGU Missouri, happy to help you and connect you with Anna. And we're going to continue to share this information. We think that there's a lot to be had to help people with those step up that they need in order to gain the confidence to really achieve their highest level of potential. So we really appreciate everyone coming today.
As a researcher at the Department of Higher Ed, I will say WGU's commitment to sharing best practices, not only in sessions like this, but just all of the information that you make available. We've done a lot of looking at competency-based systems, and we have looked a lot at what WGU is doing, and so much of it is available just for anyone who is interested in that topic to take it and go with it. So I wanted to thank you for all you are doing to share with the wider community in higher ed.
It's not our dream for us to be the only higher education institution in the nation. It's our dream to actually have the workforce that our country needs in order to thrive. And together we can do that with higher ed by partnering with other institutions. I'll also mention, Omid might want to mention something about the College Innovation Network that he is leading for community colleges to work together and solve problems.
Just in line with what we've been talking about, WGU's mission is to really expand its resources and insights across the nation. And one of the projects we're really excited about is the College Innovation Network, which really is a consortium of post-secondary institutions trying to figure out the process of driving meaningful innovation on their campus. So if you're curious about that, also feel free to reach out. We'd be happy to share more.
That's great. Well, thank you all so much to the presenters and the attendees at this session today. I will see you at further sessions today, and we appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you all.
Take care. Bye.